Good day, everybody. My name is Coffee Break, and welcome back to the Coffee Cast Reddit CastIt edition, where today I'm pulling, yes, just another replay off of Reddit CastIt, I guess. There's nothing, nothing too terribly special about that. This is something I've been doing a lot lately. Replay sites have not been updating nearly as much, so Reddit CastIt a lot of the time, and just drop.sc in general, really has become a really good source for replays, I guess. Plus, you guys know I always love doing all the amateur replays anyways. I totally forgot to check the level of these two players. I believe it's Diamond and Diamond. Not going to affirm or deny anything on that, I guess, though. Spawning on the top left-hand side of Heavy Rain, we are going to have Obi-Wan. Oh, man, I didn't even check the clan tag. That's awesome. We're going to be having Obi-Wan Aleco as our blue Protoss player. Spawning down on the bottom right-hand side. Oh, Lord. It's going to be Asdasdasd. I don't even know. It's going to be the red Zerg player, Dazd. And he's going to be down in that 5 o'clock-ish position. I'm going to go ahead and just call him Dazd. I think that's easiest. I totally forgot my production tab. Even when I was, like, doing my practice intro to make sure I got everything right, I totally forgot the production tab there. I don't know how I missed that. Aleco just going for the pretty standard pylon gateway in base. Is going for double gas though already. That's a very wow, that's a really fast double gas. 2 over there, gonna be 2 right there as well, I assume. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not quite sure what he's going into there. My first guess would be Stargates. Obviously not gonna be, well, I don't know, maybe, I guess it could be proxied. This probe is going out across the map. There is no cybernetics core yet. He's just scouting out for the moment. I don't know what this double gas is for, to be honest. He totally forgot to saturate that gas. Alright, well, we'll have to keep an eye on where he's going with that build. I think that he might have muffed that up a little bit. Over on the other side of the map, Asdasdasd just going to be doing a nice standard pool hatchery into extractor there. And I guess nothing really out of the ordinary there. I'm really surprised. Where? I don't know. I guess it's now 1 and 2. Am I sure this is a diamond game? I'm not certain. I'm not certain what the point of doing 1 and 2 there is. He really could have delayed the assimilator, gotten the cybernetics core a little bit earlier, and actually this next is a little bit faster too because he would have just had a little bit more of a mineral income. So I think that might have just been a little bit of a muff up. In fact, actually, if you guys will allow me to real fast, the chat log here, OMG or Zerg, I think he might have been thinking he was playing a PvT or a PvP, in which case you do sometimes want these double gases, get the mothership core and the stalker out really fast. Kind of had a little bit of a mix-up there, I suppose. The placement of the first couple of buildings, though, still kind of works in the end. Everything's all right there. 4 Zerglings are going to be coming out across the map, running over to this natural expansion. They'll get a little bit of an eye of what's going on here. That mothership core should push it off. I assume he saw the Nexus. No, but I mean, he saw the pylon on the low ground. He can fairly safely assume at this point what exactly is going on. Overlord getting in position to come into this base here. Nothing here quite yet. And nowadays with the Protoss, it used to kind of be like the 6 to 6:30 mark. I'd even say like 6:30 to 7-minute mark. You want to start throwing that Overlord in there. Protosses a lot of time have been delaying that just a little bit longer, going for a little bit more economy in the early game, rather than trying to tech up a little bit more quickly. Zerg player down here, Asdasdasd, still just going to be sitting on this one extractor, nothing mining out of it. I believe he just got his metabolic boost and pulled drones off of that. It'll be a little bit before we see him start actually trying to gas up a little bit here. Probably another 15 supply or so, give or take. I'm just doing rough estimates. It's been quite some time, A, since I've casted. Sleeper Cells and I casted a little bit the other day. And B, since I really had a good idea of what the meta is. And I know I tend to say this a lot at the beginning of games, but unless I feel confident with my meta, I do always want to give the disclaimer that, hey, my meta might be off and I apologize. And I know it. I'm trying to fix it right now. Over on Aleco's side of the map, we are seeing a Stargate. No attempt at all to hide that. Not exactly sure what he's going to be going for out of that. It's a little bit late for oracles. I don't know. Maybe a couple of void rays. But you really don't see much late Stargate play like this. Normally it's an early committal to Stargate with the oracles, and then transitioning into something. Are these Zerglings just going to die? They are. Anyways, it's normally you open with the oracles and then transition into something. It looks like Phoenixes is going to be the name of the game today. At the very least, he can definitely clear out Overlords, which should be scouting right now. Come on, Asdasdasd. You should be scouting into the base right now, trying to see what you can see. Then again, he really saw all he needed to see with these Zerglings up front, and he actually has a lot of Zerglings streaming out across the map right now. I don't honestly see this getting all that much done with the 4 sentries here. That's a lot of force fielding capability. You should throw one in front of the pylon and one right here to save this sentry. Right, guys? Right, guys? Trying not to waste that force field energy. Does finally do it, but oh man, a couple of things got in the base. Take out one sentry. That's actually a pretty nice little trade there, or at least at the start. Losing a lot more Zerglings than he needed to. Trading 4 or 5 Zerglings for a sentry, though, that's definitely a worthy investment. Kind of wish that Asdasdasd would have pulled out a little bit more quickly. He does have his 3rd base down on the map, though. If we look at the drone counts, maybe not quite where he wants to be. He did commit quite a bit to those Zerglings. If we look over that... Oh, that's not what I wanted to see. There we go. 14 Zerglings dead. That's the equivalent of 7 drones. So he had 7 drones onto this. You know what? That's actually still a little bit low. So he's not macroing quite as hard as I maybe would like him to... maybe would like to see him do. But he is maintaining a slight economic edge over his opponent. Phoenixes are going to be coming out across the map. There's only 3 right now. 4th one is on the way. They'll be able to do a little bit of damage right now. Not a lot of drones will go down. If we actually look over here, we already have spores and queens at these bases. Not even at that money number yet where you can pick up a queen and kill it off in one pickup. So a little bit of time yet before these Phoenixes can do really any substantial damage. I think, is it 5 Phoenixes? I don't know. It's been so long since I've seen Phoenix play in PvZ that I'm not really certain what all the precise numbers are anymore. These Phoenixes will be scouting around a little bit. In the meantime, we're going to be taking a Nexus back at our 3rd base for Aleco. And I'm a little surprised by that with only... he's using these 5 Phoenixes to harass. And there's that money number, as I was saying. Going to be able to kill off that queen. And I think it is 5. Definitely looks like it. There's not much of a ground army, though, for Aleco. He does have some gateways. In fact, if we look over here, he has, well, only 3 warp gates on the map and a single Stargate. Really not a lot of unit-producing buildings. He's just hoping that this harassment with these Phoenixes is going to be able to hold his opponent back for long enough. And he has been able to kill off at least a couple of Overlords and supply block his opponent, which is going to be pretty annoying for Asdasdasd, who's already falling behind a little bit economically. You really want to be a lot further ahead than 9 drones at this point in the game, especially considering the fact our Protoss player is going up to that 3rd base. It's going to be very difficult for Asdasdasd to really get that advantage that he's looking for. I like the decision to go Infestation Pit here, though. Getting the fungal growth out on the map to be able to lock down those Phoenixes, throw down a couple of infested Terrans beneath them. You can really be able to take out these Phoenixes fairly quickly with just a little bit of missed micro or a little bit of good micro on your own part. So I think that the Infestors are a good choice here. We do have a Void Rays coming out, though, for Aleco. That's kind of what I thought that we were going to be going for in the beginning. I don't know. You just don't really see Void Rays all that much, though. We did see this. Oh, gosh. What was it? I believe it was just today, actually, on March 4th. Oh, gosh, not March 14th. Is it March 28th already? Dear freaking goodness. MZ versus Nurtio in WCS EU round of 16 Group C. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I know all the damn jargon now. Oh, no. 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 Oh, I picked a Swarmos replay. I'm sorry, guys. That I can guarantee was an accident. Oh gosh, I don't know. I just hate Swarmos. I'm going to be honest. Every caster says it and almost every player says it as well. But we saw the type of Stargate play. I believe it was Zealot, Void Ray, Immortal, with some Phoenixes mixed in as well as triple Stargate, actually. I mean, we were talking about a lot of Void Rays from MC and Nurtio, but that was against a Rote Hydra. I can imagine it being fairly decent versus Swarm Host in general, though. Swarm Host obviously just a little bit weaker versus air. Nothing really in the Swarm Host build that's all that great against Void Rays, I suppose. A few roads are going to try to poke in here. Not going to be really able to get all that much done. I don't even think they got the Immortal there. I think there was only one Immortal all along. So that was actually just a bunch of free units for Aleco to pick up there. And we're actually seeing in that supply tab a pretty nasty advantage going over to Aleco already. A Harvester advantage finally going over to our Protoss player Aleco as well. And these Phoenixes, by the way, are still alive. Not able to take these out yet. One Phoenix might finally die. It does actually, right as I say that. Right as I'm talking about how none of them have died so far. One thing that Asdasdasd does have going for him is that he has 30 larvae right now. Once he maxes out, he is going to have so much potential to remake an army once he starts getting a bank. But the thing is, when the hell is he going to max out? When is he going to be able to start banking? He's up to 152 supply now, adding on this fire, likely to get Corruptors to try to counter these Phoenixes, and he has also seen the Void Rays, but Corruptors really not a good choice versus Void Rays. I actually would have liked to see Hydralisks, and as I was trying to say earlier, Swarm Hosts really don't allow for a lot of gas-heavy units, which kind of zones out the potential to get Hydralisks to counter the Phoenixes and to counter the Void Rays, and pretty much this entire army over here. Hydralisks aren't really good. Or pardon me, this entire army isn't really good against Hydralisks. So I think that might have been a better option. I mean, Swarm Hosts, there is no robotics right now, so Swarm Hosts aren't a bad option, but he's going to need a lot more queens than 4 if he wants to be able to pull this off. Phoenixes are coming over to the 4th base, going to pick up a queen, kill her off there. The Larva Injects have been fairly spot on, so that's not the biggest deal. It just needs to make sure to stay on top of getting those back. This entire army over here, by the way, completely susceptible to Void Rays, of which we have, oh, where are you guys? Did he stop at Void Ray production? I only see 3. 4. Okay, he has 4 Void Rays. Still, that entire army is completely susceptible to Void Rays. These Alokas are going to be able to push in, do a little bit of damage here. If we look over at that upgrades tab, not really a big deal right now, not really a factor in this. I would love to see our Protoss player go for double upgrades to try to counter off these Locusts, or at least start getting armor upgrades that would really, really help out against that attack upgrade of the Locust, who deal low damage really, really fast. There we go, getting the Void Rays to the front of the line. Just got to pick this off a little bit. Over here, we do see some Overseers that are going to be detecting absolutely nothing. Phoenix is going to be poking away at those, and I think they're going to get a couple of free Overseers, which is a nice little pickup. I don't see anything over here to help counter those Phoenixes. Here come a couple of Corruptors, but they're a little too late there, I think. They're going to take a couple pot shots, and actually a little bit of a mismicro there from Aleco. Oh, he actually could have lost a couple of those Phoenixes. I'm surprised that Asdasdasd didn't try to trade that, because I think that that would have been a pretty good trade. He could have at least gotten these 2 Phoenixes, probably even this 3rd one. Here come another little remacro of Corrupt, though. What is that, 6 instead of 3 this time. Going to give him the numbers that he really feels confident with. 1 Phoenix goes down, 2 Phoenixes go down, and it actually looks like that's going to be the end of the Phoenixes. Unfortunately for Asdasdasd, I hate to say this, but that actually just really helped Aleco free up supply for Colossus, because those Phoenixes were really eating up quite a bit of supply right there. So Aleco can now actually remax on a stronger army. He can get, apparently 2 Dark Shrines, because 1 wasn't enough. Gosh, he threw down 2 all at the same time, too. You don't see that too often there. Going to be engaging these Locusts straight up, transitioning over into the Colossus. Excellent choice. In fact, we have a triple robotics facility right now, which I failed to see in the production tab somehow. We're finally going to be getting Infestors on the field. I feel like at this point, that's maybe not quite the best unit. Excuse me, considering what we have out on the map right now. Did he remember Thermal Lance? He did. Okay, that's something I always got to check, because for some reason, I always forget Extended Thermal Lance. It is the worst feeling in the world. Zealots are going to be trying to move order counterattack down to this 4th base. That is not going to work too well. The Zerg player, actually, I really feel at this point, should have this 5th base over here. There's actually no excuse at all to not have that 5th base. Yes, the Protoss is pressuring it, but we do have a bit of a bank. We're starting to, oh, pardon me, that was the wrong bank I selected. We are getting a bit of a bank. We are maxed out at this point. There's no point in not trying to at least take it. Maybe position your Swarm Hosts to defend it, which they are right now. We have Corruptors over here defending that little area as well. Aleco feeling safe enough to push straight out through the middle of the map without Storm yet. I think that even with 4 Colossus in here, that might be a little bit risky of a move. And, oh, okay, he's just going to be engaging these Swarm Hosts straight on. Loses 1 sentry, 2 sentries right at the front line there. That's already a pretty nasty blow right there. But when are those next Locusts going to be popping out? They're rallying right in front of that army. Just needs to wait for that next wave before he really wants to move in there. Committing now would be a bad idea. And now Aleco should just really fall back. There's no chance there. Oh, getting a full energy Mothership Core, which is actually not going to die because there's nothing there to kill it. In the meantime, a Zergling counterattack coming over towards the 3rd. That's going to get mopped up by the Dark Templar. Aleco trying to push around there, see if he can find a better engagement angle. He's not going to get it. He's just going to fall back. He needs to rethink that a little bit. That was not a good engagement. You really should not push into Swarm Host without Storm and Templar. Oh, man, a Colossus getting picked off for free right there. And at this point, we're starting, oh, man, is that going to be 2 Colossus? He's going to get that next Colossus. Oh, gosh, dang it, that hurts as a Protoss player right in my heart a little bit. As a Protoss player only on 4 bases right now, yeah, he has a bit of a bank, but look at the gas count. The gas count's really going to be what... Oh my goodness, is that a third Colossus for absolutely free? I mean, not even trying to engage with the rest of his army. And now we have 2 Archons getting split off from the rest of the army as well. He needs to be much more careful with the pathing of his units here. Losing 3 Colossus, if he'd lost these 2 Archons as well, it would have been almost a devastating blow to his army. That would have been so much gas loss. That would have been an additional, I don't know what, 600 gas if he used 4 Templar for that. We are getting the Templar on the map now, which means the fungal growths are not going to be as effective if he can land the feedbacks. If he chooses to go for Storms instead, well, then the Locust won't be as effective. It'll be a lot easier to clean those up. We have had a couple of Zealots trying to push down here, a couple of Dark Templar pushing down here as well. 4th base, really not all that saturated. In fact, our Zerg player pretty low in that Harvester count. Oh, excuse me. I had a delicious Mediterranean, what is it, Greek sloppy Joe sandwich. I don't know. It was awesome. It looks like we're going to be having another bit of engagement here. This is not a good engagement angle for our Protoss player. Trying to run up the ramp at the same time as engaging with the Colossus against the Corruptors. That doesn't even make sense anywhere in my mind there. The Infestors are going to have to fall back. The Templar did get fungal growth, though. It held them back for a little bit. And here comes that next round of Locusts. They're really close to those High Templar, and the High Templar are going to have to fall back. One Storm just finally go down on top of the Corruptors, but that is so late. And the Protoss army traded so inefficiently there. Now the Corruptors getting up in front again, dropping down another fungal growth. That Mothership Core, enough energy for a recall or a Time Warp. Needs to recall out of there. I do not think that he should stay here by any means. 2 more Colossus actually kind of out in the open. A lot of Stalkers being re-macro there. Locusts coming around the back. They're going to be picking away at that Colossus. Not going to be able to do all that much. Storm goes out on a couple, and I think he actually killed his own High Templar with that Storm. Another High Templar dies to a Spine Crawler. That could have been an Archon right there. That is a massive loss, actually, in this army, considering how low on gas Aleco is. The Locusts pushing down the ramp, all clumped up there, though. Storms landing beautifully, but where is the AoE for Aleco now? He's running very low on that AoE capability. Now it's just going to come down to the Immortals, totally lost my words there, and the Stalkers to try to break this base. But with this many Locusts, I don't see that happening. 2 more Colossus rejoin the fray. Is there an observer over here? There is no observer. The Swarmos are going to be going completely untouched. There we go. There are the observers. And now the Swarmos going to get cleaned up by the Zealots. 3, 4, I think maybe even a 5th one might go down right there. No, it looks like he's going to get back behind the safety of that Spine Crawler wall. Aleco's still pushing hard, though. Doing a pretty damn good job of pushing over into that 4th base. That 4th base is going to die. 3rd base under a little bit of pressure. That's going to get cleaned up. In the meantime, though, we have a roach counterattack going to the north side of the map. There's almost nothing back at home right now to help defend against that. We have some Dark Templar and Colossus still trying to push over here, but here come the Brood Lords! That is going to absolutely mop up that army. In the meantime, on the north side of the map, Asdasdasd going to be pushing into that 3rd base where a lot of mining action is going on. A lot of pylons getting taken down, but that was just a wall to hold up this roach army just a little bit longer. Brood Lords going to halt their engagement for the moment, allowing Aleco to fall back with the rest of his army. But this base is taking a lot of damage. 5 or 6 pylons went down, which is actually a pretty big investment to remake that wall, which I assume at this point he is not going to. A gateway's probably going to fall. We've had a few probes die as well. All in all, a pretty darn effective counterattack, I would say, from Asdasdasd. If he could get this Nexus, no, he's not going to get that Nexus. But you know what? Moving up here to defend the 3rd base means that his 4th base is completely undefended as well. Here come the Swarm Hosts. Here come the Brood Lords. Not a lot of ground army to support this, though. This is a pretty risky maneuver, I think, from Aleco. How many Colossus do we have? 6 Colossus on the map. Going to help out greatly against this army, but only if he can find a way to take out these Brood Lords. How many Stalkers does he have? Not really all that much, not nearly enough to when it comes down to it. Does have Blink, will be able to get underneath these Brood Lords, but for what? I mean, there's just no DPS in the 8 Stalkers that we have here. The Brood Lords are going to be pushing forward. Corruptors coming on top of this Colossus. Nothing to defend the Colossus there. A few Colossus at least are going to go down. I see 1 going down. I see number 2 going down. The Brood Lords are falling back a little bit. Now they're just going to turn and burn on top of those Stalkers. 2 Colossus. So low on health. Those are getting microed back, though, fairly effectively for this 4th base. Not looking in too good a shape right now for Aleco. I actually really cannot see him defending this. And while Asdasdasd did lose his 4th base, he also has his 5th base that I was saying he should take earlier. Does have a little bit of saturation there. The only saving grace right now for Aleco is the fact that he did not lose his 3rd. Otherwise, I just don't see the economy there for him to be able to survive this. Photon Overcharge is trying to help clean up a little bit. In the meantime, we do a Zergling counterattack going over to that third base. That third base low on saturation already, but going to lose that Nexus powers. Going into the fifth base as well. That's going to be in trouble. But in the meantime, we have the Stalkers and Colossus coming underneath the Broodlords. Broodlords are going to once again turn and burn on top of those Stalkers. Nothing to keep those Stalkers alive. They are going to melt away under the power of the Broodlord. But the Swarmos, they are still actually alive. Zealot's going to get warped in, going to get sent down to the south a little bit there. The fourth base has been mopped up, or pardon me, the fifth base of Aleco has been mopped up by these Zerglings. The third base mopped up by the Zerglings. Aleco is down and out of this game. Just trying to hold on as long as he can, make this go on just a little bit longer, but I don't see this lasting even to 30 minutes at this point. And Aleco just going to leave the game. Asdasdasd looked to be on the ropes for a few minutes there when he got backed up next to his fourth base, able to pull off a defense after losing that fourth base though, with the Broodlords coming in from the back. All I've got to say is apparently this was a color cast, because I think I missed about 95% of the production tab in that game, unfortunately. What was the other thing I was going to say? Also, I am playing with a couple of stream settings. I'm going to turn my quality for my recording down a little bit, because it seemed that when Sleepers and I did our co-cast together and I was only recording in 480p rather than 720, I wasn't getting any lag at all. So I'll probably change that up just so we don't have lag in future casts. Thank you guys for joining in today, and until next time, this is Coffee Break, signing out.